welcome to our channel.
Today's project is we're just trying to orientate where the shower pan is going to go. One of the things that you need to plan when you're doing one of these is where things need to go in relation to where everything else is on the bus. So where I'm standing right now at the third window, we have an air conditioning system underneath us that I wanted to keep, right? When the bus is running, motor's turning the air conditioning compressor. We have plenty of air conditioning, plenty of heating. I don't have to worry about running the rooftops constantly. I don't have to worry about running the generator to run the rooftops or a giant inverter, etc. So that's staying. It's already built into the bus. I don't want to remove it. That would be a giant step backwards. So we have to figure out where this stuff is going to go to play nice with that. So what I did is I'm looking at this frame rail right here and the distance from that frame rail to the shower pan drain. And so I've measured 22 inches off, 19 inches out. Then we go outside to the outside of the bus. And when we're outside of the bus, as you can see, so here's our giant mess. So unfortunately what we have here is basically the whole electrical system of the bus. We cannot touch this. Then over here, we have our air conditioning system. We can't touch that. We have the diesel fuel fill. I could remove that if I needed to because we have one on the other side of the bus, but I don't want to touch that. So what's good for us is inside of this access door, you can see we've got a little nugget of plywood right in the middle. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to hopefully get our drain to come out of here, stay as far away from the filter as I can so that we can change the filter in our AC system still. So this door needs to open. So what I did is I drilled a little pilot hole right here, a little tiny hole, and we're gonna go look at where that lines up inside of the bus. By the way, if you're gonna be doing one of these projects, I hope you like stairs because you're gonna be going inside and out of the bus 3 million times. So then we go inside here and we're gonna look for that little pilot hole. Look at what I found, a little hole. So that's the hole. And again, we have some wiggle room with that. So as you can see, we're a little bit off on this side, and we're a lot off on this side. So what I'm going to try and do is I need to get this flange, and we need to figure out this hole in relation to that little open space of plywood that we have to work with, along with being able to get that filter out and make sure that we can make the drain fit right here. Just to show, so that goes there. This guy and the gasket goes down below. Don't look at my ugly hole. We're going to cover that up. Again, I'm dealing with a diesel line right here. The air conditioning door that needs to be accessible for the filter. So I have to be mindful of this hose. It is kind of like a rigid hose, so I can't relocate it anywhere. I'm guessing it's just for the vent, but I don't really want to mess with that. So, because I know as soon as I move it, it'll leak. So then the seal from underneath, and this guy goes on there. That just pretty basic. Put this guy down in the hole like that. that's how much I'm gonna have to space off the wall. So it's not too bad, but it's a little bit more than a 2x4. So I'm gonna have to rip, and then what I'll do is I'll do a nice joint here. So I'll make this trim. So I'll do a cap, I'll do a trim, and I'll do a trim. And that way it's all nice, one pretty piece in that corner. So that's the access door. There's our drain. And he's gonna go just like that to a 90. And then over here to where the tank will be. But we need access to this door, but I think we make it work. So we started cutting into the floor to make a hole for the drain. Ran over to Home Depot, and this is what I was able to find. This is a offset. You can see it's sitting off to the side. This is an offset drain. And that gives me like another ½ an inch to play with. And so what I'm doing is I marked the floor of where the drain needs to go. And don't be like, oh, he's not using a hole saw. The circle's not straight. I can't, and I don't want to, because we have a diesel fuel line right here. We also have the frame, and I'm just gonna notch out this little piece, and I don't want to touch that at all. So I am just nibbling away at it nice and cautiously, and hopefully we can get this to sit right in here as close as possible. And that'll be our drain, and we can shoot off a 90. And I'll probably have to, that diesel line is just riveted right there. I might have to move that just so we can accommodate the drain, and we'll go from there. There's also a access hole down there for the air conditioning filter that I need to accommodate as well. So everything's got to fit, everything's got to be able to be accessible, got to be able to get to the filter, got to be able to get to the drain. Drain needs to be straight, shoot it off to the gray water tank, and we're just trying to make things fit. Spinning.
Is that left over from your contraption you made?
Yeah. I can't get this guy out. Oh, he's just... Oh, look. The screw is turning. So like, look at the front, it's turning, and then look at the back. So I snapped the screw in half. Too tight.
Oopsie.
So we're framing the shower in. So there's these little lips across here. So we're gonna secure it on those. I need a 2-inch strip here to secure it on this side. I gotta Google and see, are you supposed to glue the shower base down? I would imagine so. I can't imagine you would want this thing bouncing around, but we're gonna make it so it's sitting in like a box. So even if we don't glue it down, it's not gonna go anywhere. Then the shower pan will be in. I need to go back to Home Depot because somebody monkeyed with the drain that I bought, and I think put the wrong top to the wrong bottom because the threads don't match. They're the wrong size. I don't know. It doesn't get tight. The threads just pull out. So at that point, we'll have a base in. Then we can start putting the shower wall part in. And we got to trim the top part of the shower wall and the back wall, and we might have a shower.
Yeah.
In the previous video or previous clip, we started framing in the shower. So we have the shower pan framed, and that frame was positioned based on the drain and where it fits in the bus. So for those of you who might be looking into this or might be wondering what's involved, or maybe just like seeing the progress, one of the biggest things that we need to take into consideration is where things are in the bus and where we want to put things in the bus, because they don't necessarily play nice with each other. So one of the things is the drain for the shower. In the previous video that you've seen, we had to use a offset drain. So this is the drain right here. You can see it's off center. Just so happened to have a centered drain. So you can see the difference here. This gives us a whole whopping 1/2 inch more space. But in some places, 1/2 inch is all the difference. I'm having a little problem though. You can see when I go to screw these two together, they're extremely loose. The threads, I can actually even pull it out. That was threaded together like 4 turns. The threads just don't work. Whereas the centered one, if I thread it together, it's tight. You don't hear it clunking, you don't hear it moving, and I can get a nice tight seal. So that's kind of holding me up right now. Is I talked with the plumbing guy in Home Depot, and we kind of both agree that this is probably a bad batch of flanges. Every single one in the box and a whole nother box all was this way, where the threads are wrong. I can't interchange these two with any of the other ones because, as you kind of see here, the offset one has a really coarse thread, whereas the straight one has a straight, nice fine thread. So I think we'll either have to go to another store and see if I can find a offset flange there, or I might have to make the centered one work. I'll also try going to a Home Depot that's near our home to see if the batch that they have maybe fits better. So that's kind of holding me up on screwing in the shower drain or the shower pan and making some forward progress on that. But we still have some framing to do. We still have some trimming to do on the back wall and the side walls. I'll get into that a little bit later. But on my trip to the store, I came back with a shower faucet. Now I picked this one. It's not the fanciest one. It's not the most expensive one, but it is the most simple. We are choosing a hot water heater that will allow us to set the temperature output of the hot water heater. So in a normal home, you have a hot water heater and you set it to a really high degree, and then you add or mix cold water to it, and that's how you get your desired temperature. We don't necessarily have to do that in an RV scenario. So I didn't want one with like 2 handles. So if you think about it in this scenario with one of these one-handled, you're basically going to set the temperature, you know, let's say you want 104, let's say you want 110. You're going to set that before you get in the shower. You're going to turn this bad boy all the way to hot, and you're going to get your water. So this is pretty simple. So let's just kind of talk about, again, I'm not a plumber. I don't do this by trade. I don't do any of this by trade. This is just a hobby. So don't use this as a how-to. What I'm going to get into here is like controversial in the plumbing world, right? You have your copper, and then you have PEX. And I think there's 3 different styles of PEX. This is the one that we're going to go with. Don't start a comment war about, oh, you should use this one. This is what we're doing. So yeah, here's the diverter valve. You have, oh, it goes this way. So this guy goes up. This is your output. And then you'll see on here, you have your hot side and you have your cold side. So your cold side's gonna have a nice big hole, and I already put the PEX fitting on here, but the hot side's gonna have a lot smaller hole. So I might actually just, I don't know. I guess it'll work fine. So I've capped off the bottom valve. This would normally go to the tub output where you would like pull up the little stopper thing to make it come out of the shower, or when it's down, it would prefer going. So the kit comes with this cap. I didn't see it in the box, so I went and bought my own. It's somewhere here. So this guy right here. So I went and bought a cap. I don't need that. So you're gonna need these guys. So this is your 1/2 inch MPT, so pipe thread. So it's a tapered thread design, and as you tighten this down, that seal is going to get tighter and tighter, but it ain't perfect. So you need either plumber's putty, I think it is, or goo, whatever, or you can use tape to make up the difference. So you need to tape these in the direction of the thread so that when you thread it on, you are pulling the tape towards the direction. You're not going against it. And so you need to put these guys on. Next, you're going to have your PEX tubing. I have that in the back. It's 10 feet long. I got red and blue. Any 90-degree corner, that PEX tube does not bend very well, and you do not want to kink it. So every 90-degree, or they also have 45s, you're going to use one of these little bends here. And then you're going to need crimps. Now there's two different ones. There's one that's just a collar, and then there's one these are called pinch clamps. Okay, so, yeah, pinch clamps. So you're gonna need a bunch of these, so I got 100 packs. And then you're going to need to crimp it somehow. So you're going to need a tool. They make powered ones of these. They're a little pricey. We're not doing this throughout an entire house. We're doing like 3 sinks in a shower, or 2 sinks in a shower. So this will work. And then you need something to cut it. Don't try and cut it with a razor blade or anything like that. You need an actual cutter. You do not want to kink the pipe. You do not want to do anything that risks a leak. Get the right stuff, do it right. Next, we're in an RV, so those pipes are gonna be jostling around as we're going down the road. Get yourself some little clamps. These little guys are like, 75% the way there. The tubing will snap into this little ring, and then you can fasten that against the stud. Again, we're going to be bouncing down the road. We do not want those tubes just constantly bouncing around forever and possibly risking a leak. So we're doing the crimp style PEX. And yeah, lastly, I got myself a little bag. Yay, Milwaukee. Putting in the shower pan, we got the hole drilled. The center flange appears like it's gonna work, so we're gonna go forward with it. Looking up the Delta shower instructions, it says to put adhesive. There's kind of some back and forth on whether or not you need it. I would hate to put the shower in and when you walk in it, it goes wee, wee, wee. So we're just gonna put it on there. I think it's more so just to prevent it from moving around and squeaking. So that's what we're going with. So here we go. Adhesive. There's gonna be pretty general with this, nothing too crazy. No going back. Shower pan's in. We're gonna drill some holes through this and put some screws around it. Lock that in. Our handy dandy impact. If you don't have an impact screwdriver, run and get one. These things are money. I've been using it for a while. I had a Craftsman Next Tech 12. My personal preference is I like the 12s very small tool, very light. I can get into small places. If you're doing this as a full job, obviously you're going to want the 1824, which is a much bigger impact driver. But this thing will, you know, it'll shove a 3-inch screw through a 2x4 like it's nothing. The battery's just a little small. You can get the bigger batteries, but again, I like the fact that I can get into really tight spaces, and it's got more than enough power for what I need. So. So we're just drilling some holes through here, just so that when we put the screw through, it doesn't crack. And then we'll screw it all in. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that the rotating head of your drill does not scrape on that shower pan, or you're going to put some scratches in there and you're not going to be very happy. So I believe there's like a protective little thing on here, but just be aware of that. And glued down to the floor. We're gonna work on finishing the framing up in that corner to support the back wall. We'll put another board across the back to support the top of the back wall, and then we're gonna move on to trimming the back wall and the side panels to accommodate the fact that the back part, the curved area of the bus is lower than the front, so we got to do a little bit of trimming. We're also going to lose the lip, where kind of like right here where I screwed into. Unfortunately, because it's meant to go in a house, it's rather high, so we're going to lose that lip, and so we're going to have to figure out how to attach that. I think we're just probably use a bunch of adhesive. It's kind of a weird shape, so I don't really think, and I can't get to it from the back, so I don't know. I don't think gluing a bracket onto the back of it is really going to work, so I don't know. We'll just have to go with it as we go, and we'll see. Also, we're going to have the shiplap. We have kind of like a really thick trim piece at the very bottom of it that's going to run around the bottom lip of the shiplap where it meets the walls. We might be able to cut kind of like a channel into that and maybe use that to help secure the back wall and give it some strength. So that's what I'm hoping.